to everyone. I'm so happy you're here. We have such an exciting day today. Well, the contract part might not be as exciting as the taco part, but it'll be a good day. So I'm glad you're all here with us. I'm going to share my screen with everyone. Let me do it this way in here. So we can start. There it is. Slideshow. And beginning. Perfecto. Okay, so welcome, and I would like to start with Miss Stacy. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. Come on in.
Good morning, everybody. Just again want to say thank you for your support, and yes, enjoy the tacos at 11. I think Yvonne said, and then we'll be out mingling around too. So any escrow whatsoever, give us a call, or we're right next door.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stacy. Okay. All right. So let me George, admit George. All right, I think that's it for right now. So we're just gonna keep moving forward. Amanda, you want to say hi to the troops?
Hi, everybody. Here it is. We have Chris next week, the 26th, from 1 p.m. until 3 p.m. He's going to be doing a VAC class. He will actually be here in the office if you guys want to register for that. And the next day he's actually booked for the one-on-one. So I would suggest if anybody has any questions to come in on the 26th.
Okay, so actually this coming Monday, the 26th, Chris Weeder will be live in our office, right?
Yes.
So yeah, make sure you pop in. It's always good to have that one-on-one time, and well, not Tuesdays are one-on-ones, but even to have somebody live, because then you can ask your questions, you can raise your hand. And we're going to cover some things on the VAC today. I'm hoping just if we do little snippets each week, it'll go, yes, I get it. And it'll just start helping your business move bigger and bigger. So thank you very much, Imelda. Congratulations to our listing agents. We are pushing toward our goal of 30. We're currently at 20. So congratulations to you, Mark's Real Estate Group, Josie, Michael Charles, Gary Morlock, Ann, Lourdes, and again, Salvador, Michael, Angie, Lupi and Doris, Alonzo, Michael Burnell, Mark Wasserman's team, Patrick Lane, Michael Charles again, Wasserman, Eileen Stuber, and Donna Ambrose. So congratulations to all of you. Let's push hard. Listings, guys, I know we've talked about this week after week after week, and we're starting to see that buyer slow down a little bit, right? They're just getting a little tired of the craziness and the multiple offers. So you're going to see more listings hit the market. You have to be in that prime position right now to be top of mind. So Maria, my God, this is the department I would be with every single day, getting your marketing, getting your branding, getting everything done and out there so that you're top of mind to get those listings, because they are coming. Be ready to take them. That's my biggest message of the day. Get ready. In escrow, congratulations to our agents who are in escrow, and that's Gloria, Wasserman team, Angie, Gary Morlock again, can't see, Melissa Carrero, Gary Marks, Morlock, Marks. I should have put my glasses on. Huh? Julia, look at Michael Charles, Katie McLaren, Ann Stark, Mark Wasserman, Patty Illingworth, Loris, Ann Stark, Allie Dion, Lupi and Doris, and Mark's Real Estate Group. So congratulations to all of you. Lots of activity. If anybody says there's nothing going on in the summer, they're just not leaving their couch. That's all I can say. Okay. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. With our new acquisition, we have a new affiliated business arrangement disclosure notice. So I wanted to remind you, and it's on SkySlope, but what you need to do is in SkySlope, and I'm going to show you exactly where to find it. Starting immediately, if you haven't already found it and are using it already, I want you to not use the past ones from this point forward. You'll only need the new affiliated business disclosure. Just remember the important thing about this is sometimes you see they come in escrow at various times. The agent may send it before closing because they forgot to get it to you. It's a RESPA violation not to provide that before you enter contract. I'm gonna repeat that one more time. It's a RESPA violation not to provide it before you enter contract. What they're doing is they're signing an acknowledgement that you've disclosed, whether we use our services or not, that we have an affiliated interest, and should we decide to use these companies, we're gonna make some money. And that's all that RESPA says, we have to disclose it. Whether or not we're using them, if it's on a loan, then it becomes a federal thing, and that's where RESPA steps in, okay? So that's why we need to do it either at the time you're writing an offer. Best practice is to check the box that says other, and I think paragraph 5, and just add affiliated business disclosure. Then there's no question it was done before the contract, right? Before it was finally ratified, you did it at the time of the offer. As a listing agent, you get an offer in, you're going to counter in that box that says other attachments and add affiliated business, because now before they finalize signing a contract, you've disclosed your affiliated interest. Does that make sense? So that's what's so important about it. And I'm just going to show it to you so you can see it. It is a little bit different. And
It's an awesome document. I know.
it is an awesome document. Here it is, right?
And that's when we're first signing them up to be our client, right?
This is when you're taking a listing or writing an offer.
There you go.
Okay, and so this is what it looks like, and you will find it in Sky Slope, but it's a little longer than our previous one, but here's all the disclaimers, and here's what all our affiliated services, just so you can see it. And so that's what you'll need to start using. I want you to also know where you can find this, as well as a couple other forms. And in Sky Slope, when you go into Sky Slope, let me minimize this. Okay, when you're in Sky Slope, if you go right down here to working documents, and then right here to office documents. And you scroll down to Indian Wells. If you're in the Palm Desert office, obviously, you'll scroll to Palm Desert. And it's right at the top, affiliated business. So no matter where you are, you can always go into Sky Slope, pull down your forms. If you've got your templates done in zip forms, I recommend you go in, delete your old ones from your template and add a new one. So your template's already up to date, okay? Another one I wanted to point out, let me come down here, just a minute, get back out. A couple other forms I want you to know, and that's the personal property sale agreement and inventory. Also, these are in Sky Slope, except those are, if you go back up here to company, see on the left side of the screen.
Back to the trace.
Okay. No yelling at your kids. All right, so you click on company, and then you're going to click on forms. And then where I found it here is the personal property sale agreement. And then there is the last one, if you go to page 2 here, is the inventory form. And just so you know, let me come back out here. Okay, so coming back here, now let's start with the personal property. Nobody likes to deal with personal property because it can really muddy up the transaction, but it's part of our daily work, right? Houses are sold every day, furnished out here. So just remember, if there's a loan on the property, you're going to have to write it up at either furniture or furnishings to be included at no value, or it's going to have to be done separately on a bill of sale. But here's what I really want you to take home is there's a lot of lazy listing agents out there, and I hate to say that, but it's so true. They don't take the time to do an inventory list. And so what you'll hear is, yeah, everything you see is included, right? So the buyers come in and they make an offer and they're in escrow, and then it's a couple days before closing and the sellers are moving out. Some really nice pieces that they were nice pieces for the seller, and the buyer's saying, wait a minute, what? I thought I was getting that piece. And this said, no, there's a few things that are personal that are mine. you get everything else, and the buyer over what could potentially be a $200 item is because of this, right? This blows up all the time.
Oh, wow.
Just blows up all the time. So
I don't know.
right before close of escrow, and everybody's cutting bullets at this point because now you're.
That's not very important.
The number one phone call CAR Legal gets pertains to paragraph 8A of the purchase contract. And guess what paragraph that is? That's the one that says items stated on the MLS, right, but not stated in the contract are not included in the contract unless otherwise put in. So if you're asking for the property to be furnished, you need to provide, if you're the buyer's agent and the seller does not have an inventory, my best practice is, hey buyer, let's walk around, let's take pictures of what you want. And then I take pictures, I'll slap them on an addendum, label it for buyer and seller signature. And at the time of the offer, I say, here's the inventory that the buyer's asking for. Let's negotiate it all up front before we get into escrow and end up in this big fight, right? Alternatively, if you don't want to do pictures, if you want to take this list, here's this inventory form that you can walk through the house and write off. And this is already there for you. But, you know, pots, pans, the reason, I mean, just be careful on this, because if you put there are 8 glasses and at close of escrow there are 7, glasses are going to break, kids, right? It's just going to happen. So that's why I prefer the pictures. I just open the cabinet and go, click, this is what you're getting, you know, and it may or may not, you know, be there because things break. You know, kids knock it over, but stuff happens. Hey, Dad, come here.
I love that, even have soap dish.
I know. Well, it's important that they know exactly what they're going to get, because unfortunately, this is the kind of stuff that throws transactions into a loop.
What I tell my clients is that we want to know what's staying, not what they're taking, because you know they always say, "Oh, everything stays," but then when you get closer, all of a sudden they decide, "No, I decided I'm taking the china cabinet." No,
Which is why the inventory is
So
critical.
I always tell me, and then I make them sign it. I make them sign.
Absolutely, buyer and seller must sign it.
And but I tell them, we don't care what you're taking with you.
Well, no.
The buyer wants to see what's gonna stay, what they're getting, you know, so that works for me.
Well, yeah, and that's the whole purpose of the inventory. We're getting a list of what the buyers are getting, and it's agreed to and signed off. Okay, why is this pulled up? I don't want this one. But I am going to open up this because it's every bit as important. And this is when you're transferring property with personal property in the sale. This is the personal property sale agreement, also found in SkySlope. And you'll see here that, you know, for the sum up, if they're paying for it, you know, like 10,000 outside of escrow or whatever that amount is, if it's 0, just put 0. Right here, I would put C attached inventory, but basically it's saying we're not warranting any of this stuff. You know, if the TV breaks next week, so sorry, right? We're not going to replace your TV. We're not going to, it's being transferred in its current state, and we will not warranty it. And they're holding us harmless if anything happens to it. So that's the inventory, and then the personal release. Okay, so any questions on those 2 items? No, pretty simple, perfect. All right, next thing I want to talk to you about, and this is probably the most important, is, and I'm saying this, and I know you're probably saying this a lot too, is non-contingent offers, right? You've been seeing more and more of them. The most questions I get is, especially recently, is on the appraisal. Because in today's world, there have been, let's see who's asking questions just to make sure before I move on. Wait, where did it go? Trying to get to your questions. I don't know how. Okay, well, let's just go back to here. If you have a question, and and you can go ahead and unmute yourself and ask it. Oh, wait, here. I was trying to get to chat. Okay. All right. So, but appraisal contingencies are being waived a lot of times with offers. And what I want to do is I want you to understand what this means. Best practice, and this quick guide just came from CAR. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Have you seen it yet? So it's in your CAR site, and you can always go into the search, and I'll email it out with the meeting handouts if you want to save it. But this is a good thing you can actually share with your client. So if you're not sure how to explain it, or if they're asking questions, so many times, and I've got to tell you this, I don't think they realize what it means sometimes, because we've had an investor recently, an agent came to me and the investor said, no, I'm just making a non-contingent offer, 10-day close, all cash, no problem. And I said, are you sure it's non-contingent? Is he not having any inspections? I mean, we know it's being sold as is, no repairs would be made, but buyers still have a right to do their due diligence, right? And see what kind of condition that house really is in. So they said, no, it's non-contingent. So I said, do me a favor, go talk to your client and ask if he's gonna have a home inspection. And they said, yes, he is. And I said, okay, but he realizes if he removes his contingencies, even if the home inspection says the house is falling down, he has to close escrow. And they said, oh no, he's gonna have a home inspection right away. But that's not a contingency. I said, okay, it is a contingency if it's gonna cancel because of the home inspection. So it's getting their heads wrapped around, that's a contingency, right? If they're gonna have an inspection and potentially they're gonna cancel because of it, that is a contingency. So for example, like this, what should a buyer know about non-contingent offers? Buyer may be at risk of losing their deposit and paying other damages if the buyer decides not to purchase after the offer is accepted, because there may be no contractual rights to cancel the contract. If you're waiving all the contingencies, you've waived all your rights. Yes.
Let's see her. She's showing other things.
Is somebody asking a question?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Christine. You want to mute yourself?
They need to mute themselves.
So did you learn?
Yeah.
You guys want to do
Walk around.
To hear it and
Let me see what we can do here. Time out. I don't know how to make this all big. Okay. Here, I got it right here, Dee. All right, I think we're okay now. Okay, so back to the contingent offers. What are the risks of a buyer writing an offer without a loan or appraisal contingency? If the buyer needs a loan to purchase, the lender may not loan the full amount specified or anything at all, which would mean the buyer would have to make up the difference in cash or cancel and be in breach of contract. Does that make sense to you, right? So if it doesn't appraise, that buyer better have enough funds in the bank. So if you're a listing agent and you're getting it on offer that's waiving the appraisal contingency, in addition to the loan approval, right, if they're getting a loan, I want to see proof of funds, that they have money in their bank, that they'll be able to deposit the difference into escrow should it not appraise. So that's an important thing. And then does the buyer have any rights to cancel a contract without any contingencies? And now this is one, and this is a question a lot of agents, they still don't get. If the buyer is provided with a transfer disclosure statement after the buyer submits the offer, or the TDS is updated or modified during the transaction, there is a statutory right to cancel the offer within 5 days after delivery of the TDS, or 3 days after delivery in person. So 5 days if it's done by mail or email, and 3 days if you're hand delivering it. So what does that mean? It means you've removed all your contingencies at the time of the offer, right? Now the seller sends the TDS. Buyer still has 5 days to review that TDS per statutory law, and can legally cancel, right? Because they, based on rating, okay?
5 business days from time of.
5 calendar days. Real estate is calendar days. I always remember that. The only time it becomes a business day is if there's something they have to perform, if it was a notice to perform, or if it was a due date that falls on a Saturday or a Sunday or holiday. then it goes to the next business day, okay? But it's always calendar days.
Property that where the Robinson
You're using the
Bay was and it, you know.
Yeah.
Couldn't other
in a
documents
mess.
fall into that?
Yes is the big one, that's
It's been
exactly.
turned over about 4 or 5 times. People pay $500,
The other ones do
$600
too.
for the
Oh,
property.
if you were to get HOA
Run out of
documents
money.
or, I don't know, some other disclosure type.
It's only
document.
referring to the TDS because of the nature of the TDS. Okay, the other ones, if they waived all their contingencies, the TDS is a statutory document, that they're not referring to any other disclosures. The TDS is kind of in its own special league. The AVID, now mind you, now this is if all contingencies are already removed
Right.
prior to entering. So, not to be confused, and this can get confusing if you really start thinking about it, but if you are the listing agent, if you're the listing agent and you get all seller disclosures, you get an accepted offer and you immediately send seller disclosures, but you haven't done your AVA yet. And you wait till like day 7 or 8 to get your AVA done. You fill it all out, have the seller sign it. Now you send that to the buyer's agent. Buyer still has 5 additional days, even if it's after contingency removal, right? So they can't remove that until you get it. That's part of seller disclosures. Yes, Sue?
On the TDS, if you've given it to the buyer doesn't, or wants to cancel, does the buyer have to specify what it is on the TDS that they don't like?
It's just they don't like the condition of the house. They're entitled to do that. Okay? Okay, any other questions before we move on? I'm going to, there's a whole list here of what the seller should know about non-contingent offers, about what sellers should know about accepting non-contingent offers. And I do recommend you go through that. If you have a seller, if you're getting something, just review this with your client so that they understand what it really means. Because, you know, just a lot of people are not, they're just doing it to try to get a house. And then they're getting themselves into trouble because they realize they get a little buyer's remorse going when they find out the condition of the house, AC units going out, the roof's about to crash, you know, all these things. And they're thinking, oh, what did I do? Make sure they're understanding exactly what they're getting into beforehand. Okay?
Can I say something?
Yes.
So a good example, this is about non-contingent or appraisal contingencies being removed. So I'm friends with an appraiser here that does a lot of local appraisers, and he called me last night about a really heartbreaking story. And he did the appraisal, and it appraised $60,000 less than what the offer price was. The buyers and the buyer's agent all agreed that they're going to remove their appraisal contingency. Well, these people don't have $60,000 extra dollars, and it was on their proof of funds. When the buyer's agent looked at it, they only, you know, after they did their down payment and everything, they only had like $12,000 left in the bank. So he was saying, you know, just if you can tell your agent, look at all those proof of funds and make sure they have the cash to cover that gap, because now these people are in a big pickle. There's a problem with that.
In a situation like that, as a listing agent, would you want to maybe advise your sellers to finance that difference?
No,
No.
no,
No, I wouldn't.
no, I would never advise the seller to finance for the buyer.
Okay.
I mean, there would be rare circumstances, but I would never, I mean, I never say never, because there's one crazy thing that would happen and it would, I'd say, oh, it just bit me. 99.9% of the time, no, either the buyer can afford it or not. You know, it's just, I don't want to put the seller in that position.
But his whole point was, and this was a seasoned buyer's agent, this person had been doing business for about 7 years, and they just didn't pay attention to the proof of funds. So really look at that when you get, you know, if you're writing an offer or you're accepting an offer, because if you're, when I represent the seller, I always say, you know, proof of funds and pre-approval has to accompany every offer that gets submitted. So I look at that, and if they say they're removing the appraisal contingency, and I did have one that did that, but she had like $1 million in the bank, so she could obviously close the gap.
We're good with
These
that.
people didn't have, yeah, nice, right? But these people didn't have that, and so really that buyer did not do a very good job. That buyer's agent, unfortunately, did not do a good job for her buyers.
So the house appraised 60,000 more,
Less.
Yeah.
So they would have to bring in the $60,000 plus all their
Oh,
closing
okay,
costs.
I got it. So it's just play heads up. You know, when you get an offer, I think, and we've talked about this before, you need to think about the scenario, look at everything. Put yourself in the, if you're the listing agent, put yourself in the seller's shoes. Somebody's buying your house. Does this make sense? Does the numbers add up? Right? Are you going to be able to close this transaction? If the answer is yes, great. Advise your client accordingly. If the answer is no, then, you know, red flag. I'd reach out to that buyer's agent and say, you know, the numbers aren't adding up for me. If this doesn't appraise, where's this other money coming from? Because quite possibly they may have some other accounts that they didn't just think to, you know, send copies. They may have it. So just follow up and do your research and ask questions. And obviously, if you're not sure, come see me. I'm always here.
Are there lenders that will give gap loans to help make up that difference?
Who would they give the gap loan to?
That it's going to depend. It's going to be rare, really, in this scenario because of, you know, the way things are in today's market. But it would be, you'd have to talk to that lender. You'd have to talk to the lender. That you're getting into crazy financing there, and the sellers, I'm telling you, even with one loan, they don't want to take your offer. So if you're, you know, you're going to present an offer with that and a gap loan and this thing, they're going to go, no, no, cash, please. We like the smell of cash. Okay, so anyway, that's non-contingent offers. Let me know if you have any questions. I do want to show you a couple fun things on the VAC, and I want to show you like just a little bit, like I said, every couple weeks, just so you can see how it's all pulling together. So if I'm thinking of this big picture, I've got this database of people that are constantly getting something from me, right? But the hard part, and I think this is where most agents have the biggest challenge, is in follow-up with all these people that are in their database, right? Making those phone calls, following up and saying, hey, just checking in. Hey, I haven't talked to you in a few months. You told me to call you, and here's what's going on, blah, 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 whatever it is. So you need a system in place that's going to give you the reminders, that's going to keep you top of mind, that's going to help you follow up, and so that it's constantly generating. So one of the things here, and of course, let's go, actually, get out of here, I'm already in the VAC. Come back over here. Okay, so I'm in the VAC, and I'm definitely going to need to make my screen bigger. And I created me as a sample contact so that I can easily click on my name. So when you have your contacts in there, obviously, if you've got them in, you know, you just click on the name of the contact, and that client's information is going to pop up, and their personal information is going to show up here. How many text messages you've sent, if you sent them, because there is a way to send them right through the system. How many emails you've sent, because you can send it right through the system. It keeps track of everything. It tells you what groups they're in. I just put myself in my office agent, my family group. Tells me what campaigns I've got that person on, right? Birthday campaign, monthly newsletter, and the next one that's ready to go out. So if you see one on here, for example, that was, say, March of 2020, you know that campaign expired and they're not on any campaign. So you can really just eyeball and see where you are there. Scrolling down a little bit here, marketing reports. If I had me on a neighborhood report, it would show what marketing reports that I'm sending out. If I want to create a report for me, I can just click on this drop down right here. And what do I want? I can create a neighborhood, a market report, or a quarterly report right from the okay. So contact activity. Here's I want this breathe with this machine because it's designed to work as that's the so whatever you need.
Hello, Gina. Sorry to interrupt. Can you ask everyone to mute their mic, please?
I just did. Thank you, Rolando. Yeah, make sure you guys keep yourself muted unless you want to ask a question. Thank you. Okay, going back here. In this section here, the contact us. the reason when you click on that record and that record pops up, that's one of the first things you're going to see. So whatever I put in that contact section, that's stuff I want to remember about my client. You know, their kids' names, their pets' names, their spouse's name, or, you know, any significant information. Maybe, you know, what they're wanting to buy. They're looking for a 3-bedroom, 3-bath home in PGA West, right? Whatever it is, that is the information I want to keep up front because that's what I have to remember about that particular person. And then right here is where I'm going to keep my notes. So if I call me, hello, and I'm going to generate a little note here saying, called Gina, called Gina, and we have a listing appointment for Saturday. Okay, beautiful. I'm gonna hit save and close. And now it keeps a running list of all my activities. So 3 months from now, if this person were to tell me, call me in 3 months, and now I just open the record, how likely am I gonna remember my phone conversation with that person 3 months ago, right? I don't remember conversations sometimes without notes 3 minutes ago. So having this here and being able to scroll it, all of a sudden everything. And where I'm noticing now, because I've been using the system for probably well over a year, is that the history behind it, because you can go back and see how that relationship has evolved and how, you know, you've worked together or how things are happening. It's really a great system. So I can go back here and see. So the next time I pick up the phone and need to call her, I'm going to go, oh yeah, this is what's going on. But in this case, I scheduled an appointment. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to add my appointment to my screen right here. And it's as easy as, you know, listing appointment. Right? And it's going to be whatever date and time, maybe Saturday, the 24th at 10 a.m. And then that's really all I need to say. So I'm going to hit save and close. Oops, I didn't put the end time, sorry. The 24th, there we go. I don't know how that happened. There we go. So now that the is on the task here, and it's also, if you click on the calendar in the VAC, you're going to find your appointments there. So all your stuff is right there. But maybe I need to do a task. Maybe I need to send right here. Have I sent the pre-listing packet, right? So I'm in the middle of showing property today. I've got 15 clients and I'm running ragged and I don't have time to do it, but I'm going to come in here because I don't want to forget this. And I'm going to put a little note, send pre-listing packet. And I'm going to want to do that before the thing. So let's do it tomorrow. Let's make sure it gets out by tomorrow. Right? And then I'm going to get this out of the way again. And hit save and close. And now there's my task. So I've got the appointment, I've got the task. Oops, let me click back on my name here. And it'll show up right here at the bottom. What's going on? There's my task and my appointment. Make sense? So now if when I get in, those daily reports that you get every morning, or is it every afternoon? Every morning. I know they just happen. They come. It's so cool. That's your to-do list. So, and that's your reminder. It's coming to you, and they're saying, "Hey, this is what's happened. This is how many people have looked at your report, and hey, hello, here's your upcoming task. You need to pull that up and check it off." You now have peace of mind. Instead of waking up in the middle of the night going, "Oh my God, did I do that?" Or, "Oh, I forgot to send this." And you know, we all do that. We panic a little bit because there's so much going on. If you're a busy realtor, there's just too much to remember. So to have a system that you can throw this in and then have it remind you and give you peace of mind that it's not going to get missed. It really is nice. Questions on that?
Go to your calendar and your VAC.
Okay, hang on a sec. I'm trying to make my mouse move.
Yeah, it is.
There we go. Oops. 3 days. goes right there. And it's cool because you can also see what other things are going on training wise, because, you know, our education department makes sure everything's up there and put in place. So that's really a cool thing. All right, so a little tidbit, hopefully that'll help. I mean, seriously, get your contacts in if they're not. If you need help with it, let me or Imelda know. We'll certainly help you with it. Any questions?
Gina? Did you pee right here?
Hi, Eileen, I can hear you.
Okay, does it put the tasks on the calendar too?
No, the tasks do not go on the calendar. Let me go back. But what the task will go is after the bell.
Did you pee? Why did you pee inside?
Okay, somebody's talking that's not muted. I just want you to, before you say something you might regret. I'm just saying. I lost my train of thought.
We were showing you what the task that we had.
That's right. So see this little bell up here? And Eileen, I don't know if you can see the little bell in the corner? It's got, see, look at Eileen, you have a birthday coming up, and Tony and Judy. But these are your reminders, and it'll give you, and if I wanted to click on tasks, it'll give me all the tasks that are also due as well. So it's not on the calendar, but they're right there on the bell. So as soon as you schedule a task, the bell will show up.
Will it show client birthday?
If you have your client's birthday in the record, yes, it will. Yeah, no, it's fantastic because our drip system now, we've got the birthday drip system. So anytime you put a client birthday in there, they're gonna get a card from you every year for their birthday, and it's automatic. Okay.
So Gina, I just want to do an endorsement. I'm Vicki Johnson. I'm not real technical at all.
Hang on, guys. We can't hear.
Gina will absolutely tell you that. And I, you know, years ago when I came to Berkshire Hathaway, kind of dabbled around in the DAC. It wasn't quite as robust as it is now, but it was still a really good product. And then I became a full-time agent, and I've done 6 transactions year to date, and of those 6, almost 50% of them came from the DAC. So how did that happen? Well, I put past clients in there. So one of my past clients called me up and said, hey, I sold my house to me a couple of years ago. I've been getting this thing from you. And I did neighborhood report is what I did. It goes out every 2 weeks to a certain area to certain people. And I pick the criteria. She was in that area. Oh, I'm thinking of selling my house. Is now a good time to sell? I said, heck yeah, this was like in February. I said, yeah, it's a great time.
They're a bad time?
Yeah. So she said, yeah, you know, I periodically would call her, but I wasn't very good at it. You know, it'd be like 4 months would go by and I'd drive and go, oh, I haven't talked to Michelle in a long time, I should call her. And so she said, every 2 weeks I'm getting this report, and what you're telling me about the market is totally confirmed based on the information you're sending me. So not only was I telling her, I had an outside source who was telling her, this is what the market looks like. So that got me over. Then 2 people in La Quinta, one on Eisenhower, called me and said, I've been getting this report from you. I've actually called a couple other agents to come out and do a market evaluation on my house, and they never call me back. Would you keep sending me? She thinks I'm sending it. You keep sending me this information, and it's a great report. And I'm really glad you like it. Would you come by and do a market evaluation? She got that listing, and then 2 months later, I got a listing on the Avenue Via. All 3 of those, you know, I mean, I did have a relationship with the first seller, but the other 2 people I didn't know from, you know, I just knew their names on my report, didn't know them at all. All 3 of those people listed it. So if you don't do anything else with the DAC, set up your contacts and do a report for your people.
I'm telling you, and then even if you have, because a lot of our agents, we have, they have, you know, the referral systems that send leads. Coordinate it. And I know, if I'm not mistaken, they're working on that in the future, right, Maria, where they're going to be syncing some of these systems, which is going to be, oh my gosh, phenomenal. I can't even tell you how excited I am about that, because that's so huge. That's so huge. But everything's just going to be synced and have everything together. You're going to be top of mind. You're going to be the person who is of influence, right? Chris and Alan Dalton's book, Real Estate Influence, it's all about setting yourself apart as the advisor. not the agent when you're ready to buy or sell out there scrambling and, in the bloody waters of real estate, with all the other stars. You're going to be out there in the cool blue waters of real estate influence because you guys have it. You've got the information. You've got everything a consumer needs, whether they want to sell quickly through the iBuyer platform, whether they want top dollar with our Apex concierge, no matter what their needs are, you can meet them at that need. And you're there with that information, even when they're not ready to sell. And that's where you want to be.
And the other cool thing is you can get their emails and their phone numbers through Melissa at Landwood Title, and it's super cheap. I think I don't have a big farm area. I think I have 2,500 people in there or something. I think I've spent less than $100 to get all that information. So they have a $10 minimum that gives you like 5 people's contact information. So I mean, I worked at a couple big brokerages. No, I will make this claim. I guarantee you, nobody in the Coachella Valley, no broker in the Coachella Valley has the tools we have here. Nobody. And if they do have it, number one, it's not as great. And number two, you're paying hundreds of dollars to your broker per month for that. So. Yay,
well, thank you. Yay. So just remember, and these are just passive activities. Okay, you want to focus on active activities every day too. But get your CRM and assign your drip systems. Get your neighborhood reports assigned, to your farms. If you think I'm talking, gibberish right now, you have no idea what's coming out of my mouth. See me later, and I'll walk you through what these neighborhood reports are. You know what? Throw out a monthly mailer to your farm, because in addition to those neighborhood reports, you may not. I'll get right back to you. You may not get everybody's email address. You're paying like 9 cents an email, but we never get 100% of the emails, right? So what about those other people in the farm? You want to promote the neighborhood reports potentially with a postcard so that everybody else on the farm is getting it and they opt in saying, yeah, I want to see one of your neighborhood reports. And then you want to supplement that with maybe what your home wants, right? Something that gives them something of value. So you've got the neighborhood reports, you've got your monthly postcards. Hey, what about if it's in your budget? Let's add an AdWords campaign to your farm and to your sphere of influence. So now you start basically, and literally, I hate using the word, stalkers, right? But you're out there and your clients see you over and over. When the clients, when they get their AdWords ad when the listing first generated, it happens automatically 100% of the time on all the listings. It goes into the MLS and then voila, magic happens. And we have this beautiful dashboard that appears and AdWords is created and they send you the note. And just make sure that your client's email is included because they're going to email that to the client. Once they click on it, it drops these cookies into their computer and now it's following them everywhere.
It's that consistency. They're not going to say, what have you done for me lately? They're seeing everything that you're doing. And then it aligns to what Gina just talked about with the neighborhood reports. The other thing that a lot of agents are finding is that they're not just doing the email and stuff like that. They're also, remember, you can use social media with your neighborhood report. So if you're going after a specific farm with that neighborhood report, share that onto your social media, spend $10 and boost that into the zip code of your farm. Because again, you need to increase your traffic on your Facebook pages. We all like that we have our friends and everything. But if you don't have thousands of people on there, we need to put money into your Facebook to bring that up as well. So remember, you can share all of your neighborhood reports onto social media. And I got to tell you, when I shared it into my stories, and it's a click of a button, you guys, I get 3 times more of the exposure.
Stories are cool.
Stories
I just learned about them.
I like stories because, again, people don't want to read, right? They just want to click and see what you're up to, right? And so stories are by far get 3 times more exposure than you're posting on your wall. So just make sure you take advantage.
Awesome. So, everything that does not equal actual conversation is passive marketing. Just remember that. So that's good, but I don't want you to get stuck there. You need to be actively marketing every single day. And so what is active marketing? I will have X number of relevant conversations every single day. You picking up the phone and having a relevant conversation about real estate with a client is an active form of marketing. You need to talk to the people. So however you can figure out how to do that. I know agents who literally will take 10 business cards, put them in their pocket, walk out of the house having no clue where they're going because they're just going somewhere. They'll go out, they'll go to, different places that they frequent, and they do not go go home until they pass out all 10 business cards. And when it's hot, they want to pass them out quickly, right? But you know what? You can host an event, whether it be a webinar, a workshop, a seminar. You know, you might want to team up with your favorite lender and talk about, you know, opportunities today. You know, buying in today's market. There's that going for you. Target people who've engaged with you or your website. I like going to local businesses. I mean, because we're all business people, right? We all do business. I mean, whether it be the nail salon or the hair place or the, you know, dog groomers or the dry cleaners or anywhere you're doing business, right? Go there. You're doing business with them. Does it not make sense to say, hey, just want to let you know I'm in the business. If somebody comes in and talks about real estate, I hope you feel comfortable introducing them to me. Right? Leave your business cards. Do you mind if I set some business cards here on the side? Many businesses will allow you to do that. Why not? Get out there. And you'd be surprised at how many will say, you know, I was thinking about buying a house, but I'm not sure now's the time. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Right? Just have some responses already set up in your mind, so you don't go, oh my God, well, really?
Well, because it allows you to become an influencer. I think people forget that, you know, these small businesses that definitely have made it through COVID, they all can appreciate business, right? Both ways. And when you can do cross marketing that way and become an influencer, mostly with real estate, I mean, you'd be surprised at things that happen. I have one of our top agents in Orange County. The majority of her business comes from the gym, believe it or not, because she always wears a Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, I sell real estate on the back of her t-shirt. And you'd be surprised the amount of people that come up next to her and say, well, what's going on in the market? What's happening nowadays? And those relationships that she's building. So again, I can't even just say, even just your simple, your name badge. Again, we'll have someone want to talk to you about what's going on in real estate.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's huge. It's huge. So networking events, things are opening up a little bit more now. Just find opportunities to get out of the house and go meet people. You know, go do something fun. Go to the bar.
That's what Brandon and I do.
You never know who you're gonna meet.
There's an agent who used to be with us, no longer, but all of her business, huge part of it came from Melbourne, Morningside.
She's probably not the only one in this business.
No, Brandon and Conrad out of our Palm Springs office actually have to do ads all the time for a local bar.
Yeah.
I mean, it is
Why
that's where they're socializing. That's where they see them. It's consistency. So,
exactly. I mean, people. We're all people. And I mean, where do we like? No, maybe not me. Where do we like? All right. Where do we like to hang out? Right? If you're a golfer, you know what? Go hang out at some of these pro shops. Pass out your business cards. People love to come out there and golf. If you're, you know,
it's relationships. It's contact sports. So again, it's just getting out there and talking with people. I think that's just what really helps.
Absolutely. But just remember, with every passive activity, make sure you're doing active activity every single day. Yes.
One of the things I found that I like to do is I also, along with my neighborhood reports, once I've actually contacted them, I'll also set up a listing report, especially if it's for one of my seller prospects. That way I've just got more information going to them. But like you're saying, you've got to reach out after you send them something just so that they know, hey,
yes.
I'm here.
Thank you for saying that. That's so important. And when you go into your CRM, you're promoting a Witcher Homeworth on your social media. You're promoting these different things. Apex has a great new video that if I were sitting in your shoes, I'd be using that. It's like a 1 minute video, 1.5 minute video. I would just be using it to market, and there's so much you can use. But when people are clicking on this and they're going into your their website, you're going to have a little red dot next to their name on the CRM. That's considered a hot lead. It's somebody who's actively working in your website. Go through your CRM and look at those. Those are the people you need to pick up the phone and say, hi, I noticed you have some questions. How can I help you? Right? Just reach out to them. They're ready. They're already looking in your site. They're already asking you for information. So follow up with those people. That's really important.
Yes, ma'am. When I first got an industry, I had a great mentor. And 2 things he used to do, and it sounded crazy to me when he first told me about it. I'm telling you, he got a lot of business. He would take his name badge and turn it upside down and kind of make it hang down. And he'd say, well, I've got to get out my 20 cards today. I think I'll go to the mall. And he would walk through the mall with his name badge like this. He would go, hey, your name badge. Oh, are you a realtor? What's happening in the market? He would get rid of all those cards. He got a couple deals. And the other thing was, my rule of thumb is everybody that I personally them a business card with the check I'm paying them with, and whatever. So he would leave his card at restaurants with, you know, the tab. I would be out with them when someone would pay, and they'd go, "Oh, are you a realtor?" "Yeah, and why are they thinking about buying a house?" It's like amazing. It's like the hot topic, no matter what the market's like, everybody wants to talk about real estate.
And on your business card, hey, if you're at a restaurant, thanks for the great service. Yes. Now, leave a decent tip, will ya? Or else they're gonna say, don't use that guy.
As I was leaving the house today, my caregiver goes, "Oh, you're real estate, and I said, I told her where I'd be in case of emergency. She goes, "Well, I'm thinking of moving to this area," and I said, "I'll be back." Yeah, I'll get you in there.
That's
You
what-
know,
Next time, say, you know, I'm gonna be late.
Yeah.
Oh, get me to listen. Yeah. Perfect. All right, guys, so that's, you know, just a couple things, wanted to give you some ideas of, you know, things maybe that you haven't thought of yet, you might be doing it, if you're doing absolutely everything and, you know, you need some more, let's sit down, let's brainstorm. This gal over here and her team, I can't even tell you, sometimes I'll call her like, "Maria, can you give me something in like 5 minutes?" And I know on the other end, she's like, "Of course, Tina, what do you need?" So thank you. I
The Nordstrom response.
I love that. And I think, please don't kill me, please don't kill me, please don't kill me. But is there anything you wanted to add to marketing or anything you
No,
want?
I think you've covered so much. The only thing I wanted to remind everybody that's on the video that's not here, make sure you guys log on to Mark Stark's Facebook Live. Oh, there you go, you're in the show. But the only other thing I was gonna say is, and I was just texting Chris, which will be here next week, like she was saying earlier, is if you guys haven't started utilizing the Apex video, right? Because right now people need to be a cash buyer in order to be a buyer in this market, right? And if you, again, it's a service you guys can provide your clients. So either see Chris and make sure that you guys have added that Apex video onto your website as a service you provide. Also, make sure you download that video and post it on your social media. Make sure you also, if you have a YouTube channel, put it into YouTube. Also, YouTube Shorts is also like the big next thing about, you know, with video and stuff like that. And what it is that they're taking snippets of video, teasing people, and then they drive them to your channel. So again, if you're one that's doing videos, we're doing it with Alan Bloom right now. Alan Bloom's spending a lot of money on going into the communities and talking about what he does. If you guys haven't seen him, we've been posting them so people can see. But YouTube Shorts is a big deal right now. But again, you have a great service, and I gotta tell you, the top tool right now is Apex, because it's providing solutions to the issues or the challenges that your clients are having. So the thing you have to do is deliver it and make sure they know that you're the solution to that problem. And the only way you're gonna do that is if you post those Apex videos. Now, you don't have to post the ones about the agents talking about it. That's more for you to understand. But we have a 1.5-minute video on Apex that talks about the benefits, it talks about the cash buyer, it talks about the renovation, it talks about the buy before you sell, and it breaks it down. To me, if I was an agent, the first thing I would do is download that video. I would put it onto my Facebook page, and again, I would boost it by $10 to the area I'm wanting to market, and I would talk about, and I would do it once a week because it is right now that people are needing that cash. And again, they want to secure their dream home, or they want to know where they're going before they list. And that's the challenge right now, is people just don't know where they're going. I'm sorry, I know you had a question.
For you directly after all.
Oh, okay, yeah, you got it. And so that, I think the buy side video would be great. The Apex video is also great. And then for those agents, again, don't forget, you can load those on your video books. Remember when I came out and I was selling those little $55 cute little video books?
Love my video book.
We have downloaded them where they're small enough that you can put those videos onto the video book. So just wanted to give you a heads up as just a reminder on that one. And one thing that I thought was great was making sure that you're leveraging the listings that you do have. So I saw all those people that had the in escrow. Remember, that's a piece that you guys can send out. You know what I mean? People want to know about the process of real estate. They want to know the stages of what you go through between, you know, you're about to prep a house, I'm about to have a open house, I'm about to have a photographer come. They want to know. People are nosy. It's a story to be told, right? So again, don't forget all those ones that were in escrow. You should be putting in a just closed escrow, right? You know what I mean? That kind of a thing. You can leverage those listings. And Mark actually in this office, Wiseman, is probably one of my top agents. And every single time he takes a listing, he's leveraging the listing by using the listing package. He does pay the $25, but he gets 6 marketing materials in return to that one listing, and he's leveraging it. Doesn't matter if it's sold in 1 day, 2 days, we'll change the messages that are on there to tell that story and then post it and get that going. So again, remember, each of your listings can leverage into 2 more if you're leveraging and marketing them right. I know you guys are all super busy, and so Mark has made us an assistant to him. If he's on the phone, maybe he'll say, he knows that every single time he takes a listing, his team is sending it to marketing, and we're getting him back within 24 hours, 6 different marketing pieces that he can use to execute. So again, just want to make sure you guys know we're available at all times, and his business is doubled, so that's huge right there.
It's bringing in the team. It's knowing what you have, and I guess if there's one message I really want to resonate with you, you're not sitting in here alone. You're not sitting in here by yourself thinking, oh gosh, I've got so much to do and I don't even know how I'm going to do it. Oh my gosh, you have an entire team of people ready to help you, from me to the marketing to education to computers.
Right.
I mean, we just have every step. So if you're not sure what to do, if you need help, it's a matter of you just saying, it's time I reach out. It's time I reach out. Let's get this bad boy rolling.
Yeah, and set those meetings with Chris, because Chris is a wealth of information. So all the stuff that she covered with the VAC between the neighborhood reports and all that good stuff, if that went over your head, or if you just haven't started doing that, make sure you come in and go between that 1 to 3 class with Chris. And by the time you leave, have that done. I mean, we have to start executing, because we can hear it all day long, but unless we execute, it's not going to result in what you guys want, which is more listings. So, Jasmine and David come to your office once a month. Gina has us on a schedule for that. So if you're wanting that one-on-one, we can do that. But we also meet with agents every day. We have 2 meetings today with agents in here on Zoom. So again, we're available at all times if you need help step by step through the process. So again, you're not alone.
Okay, who's hungry? It's Taco Tuesday. So they're setting up outside. They're going to have the station set up right outside the door for the food, and then all the condiments and goodies are going to be in the kitchen. So when we're done here, we're going to start smelling tacos and enjoying some fun. Gordon is flying in from, I think he's flying in from Vegas.
Yeah, he'll be here by 1.
So yeah, he'll be here about 1 o'clock. And so if you can hang out and say hello and thank you. I mean, this is so nice of him and Legendary Escrow. I'm pretty excited about it. And so the whole purpose is just to have fun, bring everybody together, eat tacos. I mean, how bad is life, right? How bad is life? What a company. All right. So any plugs or wants? We are right on an hour.
Are there any training on Instagram, like the Instagram Reels?
Do we have any Instagram Reels?
So you know who we've been doing a lot of training with is Katie Lance. So Katie Lance was partnered with Berkshire Hathaway about a year ago, and she's a huge guru with Facebook and Instagram, and now actually she's been doing Canva, believe it or not, she started last week. So if you want like basic training on Instagram and the Reels, I'll be honest with you, follow her. I follow Katie Lance on my Instagram, and she posts things that she shows you. What's so cool is she's all about real estate. So when she's explaining it to you, she will actually give you 3 slides to show you specifically, like, did you know how to do this? Like, she has shown me so much where I'm like, I didn't know how to do it. And she shows you how to do it right on her Instagram page. Now, if you want trainings, if you go to her YouTube channel or even her Facebook page and like it, you'll be notified every Wednesday. She does a training at 1 o'clock for about an hour, but all those are recorded and sitting on her YouTube channel as well. So you can either go to her website and click on, she has 3 icons across the top, click on Instagram, and she breaks down Instagram to the basics, to learning from stories, to the reels, to all the fun stuff that you can do with it. And she keeps it all real estate related. So that's sort of cool, because in her mind, she knows what you need to do, which is be consistent and talk about what's going on in real estate. And she also has a content calendar. So for those people that go, should I have social media, but I have no idea, what am I going to talk about, right? What's working out there? She works for people around the entire world. And what she puts together to me is just phenomenal material. She gives you a free content calendar as well. And she tells you exactly what you should be posting. So Katie Lance to me is my go-to person for training.
Yeah, she's
LANCE.
LANCE. And you should get emails, probably might be in your promotional section, but check when you see emails with webinars.
I would follow her on Instagram for sure.
Sign up for one of her webinars too. There, and because you'll learn a lot just from sitting through one. And then once you do one of her webinars, you're on her mailing list and you'll get updates on everything. And so it's really good.
Yeah, and all of it's free because it's part of her, being part of Berkshire Hathaway. So, and she's a great one to tap into. But Katie Lance is great.
Okay, so I'm not. All right, so any plugs or wants? Anybody else? Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much. I'm excited to have tacos for you on Zoom. I wish we could have tacos together.
We'll eat one for you.
Thanks for leaving us your extras.
On a diet.
Make it a great day. I'm here if you guys need me. Thank you so much. Let me stop recording.